Hello there. Today we are going to be talking about God's calling into business. And we're going to look at 3 signs that you just can't ignore. So the question is this: how do you know if God has called you into business, or is calling you into business, or is calling you to do something different in your business? You know, as a Christian, discerning whether God is calling you into business can both be really exhilarating, but it can also be very daunting. You may be grappling with questions like, is this really what God wants me to do? Or am I really equipped to carry out what I think He's calling me to do? You know, while these questions are totally valid, there are often very clear signs that God is leading you into a business for His purposes. So what we want to do, go over in this video today, and you can also read this over on my blog at deneenTB.com, but we love you being here. So we're going to look through and talk through 3 powerful indicators that God is calling you into business. Hey there, wise woman. This is Deneen TB, your Christian business growth strategist and clarity coach. And you know, I've helped hundreds of women just like you really learn how to have the God-centered business that is perfect for them. So we're going to ask you first to like the video and to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much. So now let's get into these 3 things that may be happening to you right now that are indicators that God has called you into business. Okay, if you're with me, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Say hi. I would love for that. So the first thing is that it's going to or will feel bigger than you can handle. This is so one of the surest signs that God is calling you into business, because when the vision, when this thing feels overwhelming, feels so much bigger than you feel that you can handle on your own. You know, God often stretches us beyond our comfort zones. That's exactly what you probably are feeling. And why does He do this? Because what He really wants is for us to really rely on Him. So when the thing feels too big, too great, we're forced to recognize that we just can't do it on our own strength, and that we need His guidance. We need His power. You know, when I finally settled on who my ideal clients were going to be for the sales business that I started with many, many years ago, it was going to be Christian women entrepreneurs and business owners. Because I obeyed that, I figured that out with God. God then opened up more opportunities for me to serve them through a networking group, through workshops, and eventually what I do now in coaching. Now I just remember having this overwhelming feeling back in those early days of networking and masterminding. You know, it was like I was standing on the edge of a cliff of this huge canyon in front of me, like the Grand Canyon. And it was all open in front of me. And it was so scary because I didn't know what God wanted me to do. I didn't know if He wanted me to throw myself off or what. But I now know He had everything planned. And all He wanted me to do was just to take that first step. So if you find yourself in a position where a business idea is in front of you and it feels too large, too big, take heart. That is awesome, because God specializes in giving His people the desires of their heart, and all He asks is for a heart committed to Him. So I think about some Bible people. I think about Pua and Shifra, who were really instrumental in saving Moses as an infant. I think of Huldah and what she did to spark revival in the time of Josiah. And then I think, of course, of Esther for her people to do what seemed to be an impossible task, that she could have lost her life at any second. If He's calling you to step into something, it's because He wants you to also glorify Him. And of course, we have Philippians 4:13, and I'm sure you know it. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So if He's calling you, He is giving you the strength to do it. That calling into business, of course, It may stretch you, but that's what God wants. He wants to grow you to be more like his son, because by stretching you, that really builds a deeper dependence on him. That's exactly where he wants you to be. And it positions you to succeed through his strength, not through your own. I know that is very important, and I want you to hear that, to succeed in his strength, not in your own. Okay, if any of this is hitting for you, please let me know in the comments. I would love to have those conversations with you. Okay, the second sign that maybe God is calling you into business. The thing is that it's never going to contradict the Bible teaching. So if you're looking at a business, and you've really got to say, is it something that is contradicting the Bible? You know, God will never call you into something that's going to go against his word. If the business idea really aligns with biblical principles, things like integrity, service, and stewardship, then it's pretty likely that that's part of his plan. On the other side, on the contrary, if the business idea starts to compromise your Christian values, you feel that kind of ick inside of you that something is wrong, that's probably a good indication that it is not from God. Now, having problems does not mean that it's not from God. It is what you're discerning of how it looks in front of you. A true calling will deepen your relationship with God, because it's going to drive you to his word. It's going to drive you to the Bible. If it's pulling you away from the Bible, you need to look somewhere else for your business. You really want to find yourself seeking wisdom from the Bible for everything that you do, from how you lead with your morals or ethically to really how you treat your clients and your team members. You know, the Bible is full of stories of men and women who really worked diligently in the marketplace. I think of Joseph as an administrator, Lydia, the businesswoman who sold the purple fabric, and of course Priscilla and Aquila, the power couple, I like to call them, from the early church, and as tent makers. They integrated their faith into their work, and that is what you can do too. You know, this entrepreneurial adventure is never a straight line, right? Let's face it, most of us take a lot of missed steps when we first get started because we just don't know what we just don't know. I remember my first website. It was a work of art. And I was so excited to have worked with a branding coach and to have the product that I knew everybody was going to want. But that's not what happened. It was not true. Through what I called the personalized faith plan, it was something that I knew, I believed, I had seen that every Christian entrepreneur, quote, needs. But it was not something that they even knew that they wanted. You know, this was the first thing that really didn't go as planned. Now I tell others that just because you build it does not mean that they will come. It's part of now what I teach when I work with clients inside of the Calling Clarity course and community. And of course, the PFP, that personalized faith plan, is inside of there, and everyone loves it. You know, only when you get to know God more, build this vertical relationship with him, will you then have the stamina, the courage, and the will to keep going when those things don't go as planned. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, you may know these as well. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. These are verses that we've learned since childhood, if we've been around in the church at all. And we need to rethink them and really put them from our minds into our hearts and understand what God is doing in our lives and why he's doing it in our lives. Your calling into business will lead you to rely on his word for clarity, for guidance, showing you that the work that you're doing is an extension of your faith. I believe that if God's called you into business, I have seen this, then that is your ministry, and you should focus on that. Okay, what's happening for you? Anything? I'm looking over here at my comments. Love for you to comment with me. Okay, the third thing that could totally be a sign that God has called you into business is that you will have fears and doubts. You will have fears and doubts. However, you will also feel satisfaction in the work. So there's kind of an yin and yang. Oh, I don't want to say that, right? It's a kind of a this and that. So sorry about that. Another sign, as I said, that God has called you into business is that you're going to feel both of these things. You're going to feel the fear and you're going to feel the fulfillment. If you know me, I love alliteration. So those two F words are great, fear and fulfillment. No, it's normal. It's normal to have doubts and insecurities when you're stepping into something new, especially something as big or significant as a business. And you may wonder, if you're the right person for this job, or if you're really equipped to handle the challenges ahead. This is where I really want to assure you that if God has called you into business, you are equipped. I want you to hear that. You are equipped. We just need to figure it out. We need to find out what that equipping is so that you can be the person that God wants you to be, that you can have the business that He wants you to have. My entire coaching business and the Calling Clarity course is about helping women just like you see how God has equipped them to really show up uniquely in their businesses. Uniquely. That is the prime thing. Because when you show up uniquely, authentically, then you attract those clients, those people that you were meant to serve, that God has in mind for you already. But again, you just don't know everything that you need to know, and all the nuances of business, from things like attracting clients to forming a brand voice to creating content that really helps and truly serves those that God has called you to serve. You know, these fears, they actually might be stopping you, but it's important to remember that alongside of those fears, you also experience this deep satisfaction and joy from doing the work. There's a sense of fulfillment. Despite all of these uncertainties, that is often the sign from God that He's moving in your life and that you are in His will, in His direction. You know, He's placed this passion in your heart. And though it can be really frightening at times, it really does give you a sense of purpose, and you feel that alignment with His will. You know, God showed me that I was in His will when I really began to see my ideal clients, those Christian women entrepreneurs and business owners. You know, it opened up a whole new world for me because I love how women in business think, and I feel so deeply connected to them. And I am so honored that I get to serve them each and every day with how God has equipped me. I have another verse for you. It's Isaiah 41:10, and it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you with my righteous right hand." You know, you will face fears, but God's presence will bring you peace and courage to move forward. Okay, so those are the three things that might be happening to you. Let me know in the comments. Is something happening to you? Do you have any of these feelings? Is this something that you are grappling with? So we're going to go to, what does God have for you right now? Right? Where does He have you? What is happening for you? What is coming up for you? Where does He have you for right now? If you, again, are feeling that nudge that God may be calling you into business, or that God's calling you to change your business in some way, you're in some kind of transition, don't ignore it. Pay attention to these three key signs that we have really been talking about. That overwhelming vision that makes you realize how much you need God. A business that aligns with and deepens your understanding of the Bible And of course, the presence of both fear and fulfillment in your heart, right? That excitement, yet you're able to say, this is a purpose for me. These are really clear indicators that God is really positioning you for something greater, something that will not only impact your life, but also expand his kingdom through your work. Remember, you are part of his story, and you need to step into that, because stepping into a God-centered business calling isn't about your personal success. It's really about being that vessel for his purposes, glorifying him through using your skills, your talents, your experiences, all those things that he's given you, and really transforming the marketplace with kingdom principles, with biblical principles, infusing that into the marketplace. Now, this journey, it's not going to be easy, but it will be profoundly rewarding as you grow in your faith and in his strength. God will equip you. He will lead you. He will provide the wisdom that you need at every turn. You don't have to figure this out all alone. God wants you to walk with him through this process, and the tools and resources that will really help to align you with his business, the business he has for you, your business, and with his design of you. Whether you're unsure where to begin, or you're battling those fears, or you're just stuck in analysis paralysis, you can find clarity by seeking his guidance. So, what's the next step? Well, take the next step by joining our free training. This free training is available to you at any time. If you're ready to dive deeper and learn how to align your business with God's design of you and what he wants you to do in the marketplace, I invite you to join this free training. It's called How to Build an Impactful Business That Serves God and Perfectly Aligns with his design of you, without first waiting for a sign from God, developing a brand like I did, or creating a website that failed. In the training, what you're going to do is you're going to learn how to recognize and really overcome those doubts and fears that are holding you back. We're going to learn how to avoid the analysis paralysis and take the next step, even when you don't feel like it's perfect yet. And you'll learn how to align your business with God's unique design of you so you can move forward confidently, knowing that you are in his will. What I really want for you is not to let this uncertainty or this fear stop you from stepping into what God has called you to do. I want you to sign up today to take that bold first step toward building a God-centered business that really glorifies him and brings fulfillment to you. The link for that training is down in the description. So I want you to go ahead and click it, because I know stepping into a God-given business calling is not easy, but it is profoundly, profoundly rewarding. I've been doing it for 14 years. And as you move forward, remember that God is with you, and he has equipped you for this journey. Through faith, obedience, and reliance on his word, on him, your business can become a powerful avenue for the work that God has you doing in the world. That is exciting. I think it's exciting. I think it's awesome. Go ahead and click again in the description. You'll see the training. Make sure that you like this video. Make sure, if you're enjoying the content, that you do subscribe. I would love to see you in the comments and telling me what God is doing in your life as you go towards business and glorifying him through it. This is Deneen TV. Have a great rest of your day. And as always,